this is Clarinetgamer here, and I'm back with not a wrestling review, but a gaming review. I realise it has been like a very long time since I've actually done a gaming review, so I'm going to make up for it. So the game I'm going to be reviewing is, and you could probably tell like from the music that was at the start of the video and the picture, it is this game, Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. Now, my general thoughts on this game so far before I begin. This game, is done by Traveller's Tales. This is one of the Crash Bandicoot games, or platforming games, not done by Naughty Dog, and I feel like this game is quite good. I think. It's Traveller's Tales did a very good job of a Crash Bandicoot game here, and along with like Crash to Insanity, which I'll review later on as well. Um, but moving on, now the four categories again, as I said before about my gaming reviews that go into this follows like the plot, the gameplay, the graphics, and like the soundtrack as well. Um, so I could start with the plot just now. Basically, what the story of the game is that like Uka Uka is furious at like every bad guy, Tiny Dingodile, Entropy, Engine, and of course Cortex are he's furious at the failures, and Cortex blames Crash for this again. And Uka Uka says that Crash must be eliminated, and the Engine says maybe he's just too good for us, he's defeated us every time. And Uka Uka says, enough excuses, you'll come up with a plan or else. And then Entropy and Engine bring up about Cortex working on a super secret weapon that will like get rid of Crash forever. So Cortex had to reveal this secret weapon because they're running out of options. And that secret weapon was another Bandicoot named Crunch Bandicoot, and this was Crunch's first appearance in the Crash Bandicoot series. And in order for Crunch to be powerful, they unleashed the elementals of earth, fire, wind, and water. Sorry, I just had check my phone just now, just make sure it doesn't go off. But yeah, they summon the elementals to be unleashed upon the earth, and Crash, Coco, and Aku Aku are relaxing on the beach, and they find out about the elementals when an earthquake erupts, and then the volcano like erupts, and then it starts to like go windy, and then a tidal wave sends Crash and Coco like flying down to the beach with Aku Aku. So Aku Aku decides to investigate what's causing all this, and to his shock and horror, he discovered that the elementals had been released once again by Uka Uka to like power up Crunch. So the main objective really is to like gather like 5 crystals of like different warp rooms in order to put like the elementals like in the hibernation state, so they won't come back. And they use a virtual reality hub that Coco invented, and they go from there to basically collect all the crystals and stuff to get rid of the elementals, like defeating Crunch along the way, and eventually culminating in a final battle on the Cortex's space station. And then Crunch basically turns to the good side, obviously since he's a Bandicoot anyway, he decided to join the Bandicoot family to give it like strength and stuff. So that's basically the plot for the Wrath of Cortex. I'm pretty sure all of you have played this game before and they're like watching this review. So I would probably give the plot, it is a pretty good plot I think in this. I would give it 4 out of 5. Now the gameplay I'm going to talk about. Now basically Crash looks pretty good in this game I think, and the moves that he has are like the spin, the slide, jump, and all that kind of things. Now, the design of the game looks different. For example, like the crates look completely different, and Konami like developed the game as well. So this is like Konami's like first and only Crash Bandicoot game, and Universal was still involved with making the games as well. And there's one gameplay element that I'm kind of impatient about and I really don't like. And it's the one where you're climbing on the monkey bars, and it is a slow speed, and it's very annoying, especially like if you're going for like the time trials. It is kind of annoying and it holds you back like from getting a good time. So that's kind of annoying. But apart from that, the game looks pretty good, I think. And and the gameplay is pretty awesome, especially like for going up against the bosses and stuff. You use like different kind of gameplay mechanics. For example, like Crash is like in the giant ball, like in Bamboozled, and like this Eskimo role, like where Cortex's minions like Tiny, Dingodile, and like Entropy like try to stop Crash from collecting the crystals. That's why they're there, and also, like Crash, like is racing in like well, in one of the levels, like in Smokey and the Bandicoot, I think it's called. He races against the minions to get the crystal, and I think in Droid Void, that's one of the levels I talked about where the climbing mechanic is kind of flawed. I think. I mean, well, I am. It's my opinion, but I think it's kind of flawed. It's very slow, but eventually you do get there. But Crash uses some sort of kind of machine, like or kind of like a walking kind of machine to destroy the boxes and stuff and enemies that's in front of him, which I think is quite useful, especially if you're getting rid of nitros. Um, and what else? So yeah, you get to play as Coco in this game as well, and fully play as her. You're like not unlike Crash Bandicoot 3, like where she only rides on like a Pura and like she rides on like the jet ski, and you actually get to like use her. Like she can spin kick, and she can also like use her feet to like slide and attack the enemies, and so she can body slam as well. I mean, not body slam, but she can use her feet to like slam on the ground, which is quite impressive. And she uses like her spaceship in one of the levels as well, like to destroy like space stations that Cortex sent to the to control the Earth. So all in all, I mean, apart from all like the different types of levels and stuff, the gameplay is pretty good. Apart from the climbing system, which I talked about in Droid Void and like Gold Rush, and that's another level that has a climbing thing as well. The gameplay is pretty good, so I would give it a 4 out of 5. The graphics for this game, obviously, it's a PlayStation 2 game, so the graphics are definitely really good. And like, I mean, the game came out in like 2001, I believe, like a year after Crash Bash, and the game looks pretty good. I think. I mean, for an early PS2 game, it looks pretty good for graphics. Although the graphics would later improve in like later Crash Bandicoot games on for the PS2, like Crash Nitro Kart and Crash Twinsanity, and like Crash Tag Team Racing. The graphics would improve in those games, but this game was the start of like improved graphics. So overall, I would give this game like for the game's graphics, I would give like 4 out of 5 as well. Now, before I go on to the soundtrack, just a hint to note, my favorite elemental mask in this game is Pyro, purely because he's voiced by Mark Hamill. The Mark Hamill played Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars films, and like he voiced the Joker in the Batman cartoons and like the Batman games, like Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. So Mark Hamill, legend, a legendary actor, I think. But anyway, moving on. The soundtrack perfectly fits most of the levels in the game. Like I think my favorite track in The Wrath of Cortex, I think, is the Compactor Reactor one. That's my favorite like track in the game, and yeah, and well, so yeah, the boss music is kind of intense as well, especially Pyro's music, and also like the final boss music is pretty intense. I mean, I'm looking for, yeah, a bit of a spoiler. I will be doing Wrath of Cortex at some point. It's one of my planned future LPs, and I'm looking forward to really like doing this game again. I mean, I managed to get the full like 106% completion or 105% completion like off screen, and again, I'm gonna have to use my gut instincts to actually just play without the sound on the TV once again, like what I did with the Simpsons Road Rage on my first part. But anyway, the soundtrack, I would give 4.5 out of 5. All in all, I think this Crash game is pretty good. Like for the PS2, it may not be as good as Naughty Dog's version of Crash Bandicoot games for like the PS1, but all in all, I would give this game 8.5 out of 10, because like the climbing system could be better, like for the levels, and all in all, it could have got a better score if it wasn't like for the climbing system and like the levels, and but yeah, all in all, the game deserves a pretty good score of like 8.5 out of 10 for me in the way. So, that's the end of my gaming review. I hope you enjoyed this gaming review. If you did, be sure to like the video, comment down below for your thoughts on the Wrath of Cortex, and subscribe for more gaming reviews. And from me, Clarinetgamer, Crash, Cortex, and Crunch, as you can see, like in the shadowy figure in the background. This is Clarinetgamer here signing off, and I'll see you guys next time for my next gaming review at some point. Till then, I'll see you later, and goodbye.